Is the LG Stylo 6 worth buying in summer of 2021? Well, in this video, we're gonna find out. What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, and this is the LG Stylo 6. Now, I'm sure you've heard already, but LG is in the process of shutting down their mobile division. The company no longer plans on making any future smartphones. And I'm certainly not happy to hear that, as I am someone who really likes to see plenty of competition when it comes to smartphones. But on the other hand, as one door closes, another door often will open. So I'm looking forward to seeing other companies step up to fill in the void created by LG due to their departure. Now on this channel, we mainly focus on smartphones that are more in the budget range. And due to that, I never covered the LG Wing, LG Velvet, or the LG V60, which were three of the final major releases that LG put out. But apparently for those devices and some of their other more recent phones, they do intend on continuing to deploy software updates. Now that certainly is great to hear, as I'm glad that LG still does want to take care of their core fan base that stuck with them all the way until the end. I've got to say though that I am a bit skeptical that they will actually follow through and continue to update those phones on a regular basis for the next several years, considering that for the last 5 years, LG has been one of the worst companies when it comes to providing timely updates for software. And oftentimes, they don't even update their phones at all. Now, I understand that the LG Stylo 6 is not a flagship, but it is one of the more popular phones that the company has sold, at least in the US over the last couple of years. And this is the US factory unlocked LG Stylo 6, and you can see the phone hasn't even been updated since November of 2020. So I typically judge future actions off previous actions. So if I had to guess, I don't think the LG Stylo 6 will ever get another update again. Now, when they did say that they were going to be providing future updates to certain phones, the Stylo 6 was not on the list for that. So at least they're not committing to updating the LG Stylo 6 into the future, so we know what to expect. And this video isn't really meant to be a commentary on LG as a company, but I think one of the biggest issues that they've had in the past is that they don't really focus on having their customers actually be satisfied with their purchases. They seem to just always be moving on to the next phone release, and customer retention never really seems to be a priority for this company. Now, I understand that LG does have some very committed and loyal fans out there, but I feel like most people buy LG devices because they're on sale, not because they're the best. But getting back to the main topic of the video, and that is whether or not the LG Stylo 6 is worth buying in 2021. Now, the reality is that this phone has been very popular for LG. Unfortunately, not popular enough to save their mobile division, but it certainly was a top seller for them. And I know at least at Metro by T-Mobile at a certain time, the LG Stylo 6 and the Samsung Galaxy A21 were the two top sellers. So certainly a lot of people already own the LG Stylo 6, and I'm sure that over the next couple of years, many people will be trying to sell their LG Stylo 6s on eBay or trying to sell them on Facebook Marketplace or another platform like that. And these phones still do work perfectly fine. So even if this phone never gets another software update again, all of your apps and everything are going to work perfectly normally. So if you don't mind not getting the latest versions of Android with this device, then this certainly might be a decent option that you might want to consider, especially if you're going to buy it used over the next several years. And I'm sure you'll be able to get some really good deals on it. Now, if you are looking to get a really good deal on an LG Stylo 6, I have linked to eBay, so definitely take a look for both new and used LG Stylo 6s to see if you can really get a good deal on the phone. Because while this phone isn't necessarily the best phone ever, it certainly isn't a bad option either. Because for example, with this device, we're getting a really big 6.8-inch display. So it's a really good phone for content consumption, especially for video content. And the display itself is IPS LCD. We're getting a resolution of 1080p, a PPI of 395. We're getting a 20.5:9 aspect ratio, and we're getting an 82.5% screen to body ratio. So in general, it still is a decent piece of hardware here. And again, if you can get this phone for a fraction of the price when it was new, then it likely will still be worth it for you. Now with this device, we do have a notch up top here, and in that notch is a 13 megapixel front-facing camera. The phone comes with 64 gigabytes of internal storage and also micro SD card expansion. And we're also getting a fingerprint sensor on the back. So we'll give that a try right now. So nice and quick, one more time. Awesome. So we have a fingerprint sensor. We also have a triple camera setup on the back of the phone with a 13 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera. This phone also supports portrait mode for both the rear and front cameras. So if you are someone that does like to get those nice blurred out backgrounds, then you definitely can do that here with the LG Stylo 6. Now here's how things look on the camera app on the phone. This is with the main camera right here. Then from here, we can switch over to the ultra wide angle camera to fit a lot more content into the frame. And definitely take a look at my LG Stylo 6 review to see a variety of different photo and video samples from the actual phone itself. Now flipping around to the front facing camera, you can see there's me. So you can take decently clear selfies here with the phone. And then again, we can switch over to portrait mode to get those nice blurred out backgrounds. So we can do that with both the front camera and then also the rear camera as well. Now with the LG Stylo 6, the variants of the phone that are offered through carriers come with 3 gigabytes of RAM. But this phone is the factory unlocked US model, and we actually get 4 gigabytes of RAM with it. So that's pretty awesome. But either way, that is a decent amount of RAM, but expect things to run at least a little bit better if you are getting the version of the phone with 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now the processor that we're getting here with the LG Stylo 6 is the MediaTek Helio P35, and that's actually a decently slow processor, so that's a bit unfortunate. This phone definitely would have been way better if it did have a more powerful processor instead, but I'll show you the benchmark scores here through Geekbench 5, and you can see I got a single core score of 170 and a multi-core score of 964. So what I recommend doing is running this benchmark test on your current phone and then compare your scores to these scores to get a better idea of whether or not the LG Stylo 6 will be a performance upgrade for you. Now, video recording with the phone does max out at 1080p. We are getting a 4000 milliamp hour internal battery with the phone, so a pretty big battery overall. And this phone also does feature NFC. So if you are someone that likes to use Google Pay, for example, then at least know that you can make mobile contactless payments here with the phone. Now, taking a closer look at the hardware, like I said, the display is pretty nice. I like that it is really large, and also it is 1080p, so everything is decently crisp and clear here. Definitely one of the more strong points with the phone. Now, taking a look at the left side of the device, we have the volume up, volume down. There's also a dedicated Google Assistant button, and then we have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. On the right side of the phone, we have the power button, and then up top here, we have the noise canceling microphone. Then, on the bottom of the phone, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, we have the microphone, we have the USB-C port for charging and data transfer, we have the speaker, and we have the stylus. So, the Stylo 6, hence its name, does feature a stylus built into the bottom of the phone. And it certainly is a cool thing to have here. Definitely a big fan of it. And I like that you can use it to navigate around the phone. But also if you want to write notes or draw, you can do that too. Now compared to the various Galaxy Note series phones, this stylus is certainly not as capable. But for a budget or mid-range phone like the LG Stylo 6, this is totally adequate and will get the job done, and at least it will give you a better idea too if you do want to get a more capable stylus phone. So in conclusion, is the LG Stylo 6 worth buying? I would say that if you can get this phone for under $150, it's a good phone to get. And that would be if you're going to get the phone factory unlocked. If you are going to get it locked to a carrier, then I wouldn't pay any more than $100. But like I said, if you can get it for at least under $150, I feel like it is well worth it. But I wouldn't pay any more than that. And again, considering that LG is no longer in the smartphone business, I wouldn't expect to get any software updates with this device moving forward. But if you know what you're getting into here with the Stylo 6, then I don't feel like it's a bad choice at all. But this is the LG Stylo 6 in summer of 2021. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. But I will see you in the next video.